Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Dr. Shivagami Gugan, Chief Technologist, AWS, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. Shivagami is Chief Technologist at Amazon Web Services across the Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. Global AI and cloud expert, driving digital transformation across governments and enterprises. Former Emirates Group technology leader with over 2 decades of innovation experience. She's the Vice Chair of the UN's AI for Good initiative and a Woman of Excellence Award recipient. Ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing ovation, make welcome Dr. Shivagami Gugan.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Is the energy up there? Okay. This is going to be very technology focused, and for all the technology enthusiasts at the back, I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. So today we're going to be looking at taking it from possibility to practice, which is about actually implementing AI in your different fields of domains where it's already making an impact. Is it going to work? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. For a minute, right, if you think, so you've heard a lot about AI, GenAI, Agentic AI. I just want you to close your eyes and think for a couple of seconds, right? If you do not have any constraints in the world, what would you do differently? So this is what Jeff Bezos, we heard his name a lot of times. In 1996, when internet was just off in the offing, right, he thought about this innovation, to bring books without any limits. Because whenever you had these bookstores, it always had, 1,000 books, 20,000 books. But how do I build a bookstore which has no limits, where, all types of books are available 24/7, 365 days. Yeah, that was the vision. And of course, we know where it started and where it is now. And exactly 2006, which is 10 years after 1996, actually the company thought all the good infrastructure that we have built for making the greatest e-commerce at that point of time, why not make it available for others? Why don't we actually, start, in fact, kind of loaning this infrastructure which has helped us build our business to the other businesses. And that's how Amazon Web Services, which is the cloud department of Amazon, was really born. So this is about innovation, right? This is about thinking that you do not have any constraints. And moving forward, actually you see now, how many of you have heard Kuiper? So Kuiper, Kuiper, is one of the projects that Amazon is running currently, which is about launching around 3,200 low Earth orbit satellites that is expected to provide connectivity to all the remotest parts of the world, right? So this is, again, a kind of a thought which is unconstrained. So similarly, what if sky was no longer a limit? And in fact, GenAI, since the mid of 2022, is a technology that is allowing you to think beyond your imagination. You can now dream about your home, you can dream about your dress, whatever you want to do, not by investing lots of money, but rather by using some kind of simulation, by using your voice, your text to reimagine your thoughts, right? Basically, so this is a technology that is expected to stay, and this is a technology that will have a fundamental shift to customer experience, reimagining how businesses will connect with customers, how businesses will connect with other businesses, and how your back-end automation will change fundamentally. Productivity improvements, improvements in the way that we would build software. So there are, again, some examples that we'll look at. So we are moving now from AI. AI has always been there. It's been there for 3-4 decades. We've always had in banks, built prescriptive, predictive AI, forecasting, fraud detection. These were existing, right? So what has changed now? And for the youngsters at the back, what has really changed now? So we have seen 3 important factors that has, led to GenAI and then now to Agentic AI. One is obviously, the change in the way the AI machine learning models have been built. So you've heard about transformer technology, and then we've had a lot of modifications of that. It's about the availability of scale compute. And this is where cloud, obviously, you could not build these huge models which were trained on trillions of tokens on something which is on-prem, right? This is, definitely one of the key contributors is cloud. And of course, youngsters like yourselves, the startups, the SMEs, the innovation that was fueling this particular field of AI and machine learning that made this possible. So what are we talking about? So we've had traditional AI ML, and then we went into GenAI. GenAI is about, one model, one foundation model trying to do things that you are asking it to do, like sing a song, or, create a poem, or, summarize this document, write an email. So this is about one model doing things. And now we are moving into goal-driven models. Agents, what we call these models as agents, these agents talking to other agents and being multi-orchestrated and working towards a particular goal with having reasoning abilities, right? So you have probably one of the orchestrator agents trying to drive towards a goal, which is, let's say, create a hyper-personalized offering for my customer, and then it has got the reasoning, so it can actually orchestrate and use the right tool. It can use the right agent, and it can work towards that particular goal, right? So we are looking at autonomous automation. We are looking at slowly moving from building intelligence that would actually be able to talk to other intelligent ecosystems through different protocols. So we've heard about APIs. I think we also heard about how we open up integration through APIs. Now we are talking about MCP, right? How many of you have heard about MCP? Model Context Protocol, yeah? So this is the new way where you would encapsulate either a tool or your other agents, and you would expose them to be easily consumed by the other agent ecosystem. This is where it is currently moving, yeah? Now, again, so just to, we spoke about this, it's an evolution of prescriptive AI being, Gen AI and Agentic AI and autonomous agents now. And it's not going to be, it's a hockey stick innovation. It's not going to take tens of years for this technology to mature. As you would have seen, this is just going to take probably, months or, sometimes even few weeks. Every few weeks, you have new models being, published out there for use. Okay, about Amazon itself, we're kind of reinventing a lot of things. Alexa, which has been there for probably more than a decade now, is completely being rebuilt using Agentic AI. So it's using the autonomous power and the absolute reasoning of the models. We are completely rewriting. It's called Alexa Plus. Now, some more examples, right? So Rufus is a shopping assistant which is available in Amazon.com. It's available in some of the markets, not everywhere. And you can actually ask questions. It's voice activated, or you can, obviously text. And you can say, my son's birthday, he's 9 years old. What do you think I should gift him for his birthday? Right? And it can suggest you. It's not about knowing that particular model or that particular product and then going and searching for that product. And there are around 4.5 million review comments that come into Amazon.com. And we've put some agents that would actually summarize and give the most accurate review about the products to our customers, because we're very, very customer obsessed, right? No inaccuracy, completely genuine, real time, summarization of all the reviews. All of this is possible because of Agentic AI. I would like to actually take your attention. Yeah, this is a demo of Rufus. So here, you just ask questions. So here it's like compare drip and pour coffee makers, and then it gives you a complete comparison in terms of functionality, in terms of cost, in terms of the merchants and things like that. So it's changing exactly the way that customers would interact. Now, just like water will find its own level, right? We are seeing a big shift in how customers want to interact to voice. And in the next probably 2-3 years, you would see every single customer experience being shifted to voice-activated interaction. Why do we say that? Because it's very easy for us. And we've seen our kids, right? They always adopt whatever is the easiest way for them to get things done. Voice is much easier than text. And then we are having these models that are getting evolved now that is actually doing the best voice recognition and converting it to the right kind of, the accurate depiction of text. So that is again something that we are seeing. We are also seeing one more very important trend. This is Amazon's own story, but there are a number of customers who are now using AI DLC. AI DLC is AI-backed development lifecycle for creating software. Now, we heard the host talk in the morning, right? So technology is the operating system of any and every business. So that means you're creating your own software. You're creating the software that is going to give this USP for your business, creating, fast time to market, agility and pace and whatnot. And if you have to do that, your software needs to be tech debt free. You need to write clean, quick software. This is an example where around 10,000 apps, this is since 2023, 10,000 apps were converted, and the tech debt was removed from Java 7 to 11 to Java 21, but it was done so quickly and so accurately by the agents that we saved around 4,500 developer years and around $260 million. So there's a case study on this. There are a number of stories that are similar from different customers on AI DLC. Now, just leveling out, right? What is this AI agents and why is there so much of a hype on AI agents? I spoke about it, goal-driven, can use tools and can use other agents and it can drive towards the goal. And once you can have human in the loop and you can also have human outside the loop after you have seen that this flywheel starts working and you're quite confident that your agents are working within the guardrails, within the thresholds as required. Now, I would request a video to be played, and I hope this will work. I want you to listen to multiple agents in play here. After this is done, I will come back to you. Yeah. Can we hear the voice?
Can you please provide your phone number so I can look up your account information?
Sure, yeah, it's 510-123-4567.
Thank you for providing your phone number. I've retrieved your account information. How can I assist you today?
Why is my bill this high? It's ridiculous. How are you charging me this much?
I understand your concern about the high bill. Let's look into it. Your current bill is $108.45, which includes a $70 plan cost and $38.45 in international roaming fees.
Wait, but I travel internationally a lot, so I need a plan that won't have international roaming fees.
I found a plan that might be suitable for you. The Global Connect plan costs $85 per month and includes unlimited talk, text, and data internationally at no extra cost. It also includes unlimited domestic talk and text, 15 gigabytes of high-speed data domestically, and mobile hotspot capability. Would you like to switch to this plan?
Okay, that sounds pretty good, actually. Can you do a cost comparison?
Here's a comparison of the costs. Your current plan costs $70 per month plus $38.45 in international roaming fees, totaling $108.45. The Global Connect plan costs $85 per month without any international roaming fees. Switching to the Global Connect plan would save you $23.45 per month.
That's perfect. Can you switch me?
I'm switching you to the Global Connect plan now. You'll start seeing the changes on your next bill.
Okay, so what did we see? We saw a sentiment meter, which is a sentiment agent. So there's this agent which is feeding it to the master orchestrator. The orchestrator agent, previously we've always seen chatbots, right? But when you interrupt, does it keep the context? No. Can it dip into data sources to on-the-fly bundle and give you offers? Can it switch plans on the fly? No. This is the new world. The new world is an ecosystem of multiple agents having the ability to take decisions and hyper-personalize and give you offers within, of course, the guardrails that have been put in place by your organization, but giving extreme, customer satisfaction and flexibility and taking the customer experience to almost the next level. We're seeing this, again and again with banks, with airlines. They are doing their tests and the POCs now with limited number of customers, and this is where we see the world is heading. There are a number of other videos. We'll share this information, and we can look into it later. So the AI adoption momentum is real. The penetration of AI in at least one of the business functions in 2024 has been around 72%. And it is a boardroom discussion. We all know, everybody discusses about AI. And the value realization has also been, quite good with some of the companies and organizations, but not really across. Now, we call 2025, which is almost gone by, as the year of business value. So we've seen a number of organizations play with AI, ML, do POCs. 2025 and 2026 is going to be the year of actually realizing the business value. And they need to get it right, because we do see there is a big risk of people wanting to jump into the bandwagon. They want to really get into the hype of doing GenAI and Agentic AI, but these efforts and endeavors are failing. The main reason that we have kind of found out is primarily to look at the foundations, right? And in fact, there's another revelation that we've got, that regulated companies, be it healthcare, be it banking, be it finance, are the industries that have been more successful in adopting AI than what we thought, probably the other organizations will be more successful. The reason is the kind of discipline they had with data. So if your data, does not have the lineage, or you don't have the ownership, and people are not it's not well defined as a product that can be consumed by your AI ML agents, then you may be successful when you're doing your POC, but not when you're doing production grade. This is something that you'll have to, when you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your customers, you'll have to be wary about that. Data is the foundation for AI ML success. And we'll have to put a lot of effort in making sure that your data is right, you do have the right kind of skills. It's very easy now to have AI engineers building something scrappy, vibe coding, we've heard about all of this, but to make sure that the human is always there in the loop to identify and work alongside these agents to produce the most stable and the resilient system that would work for several years. This is where we are seeing a very big gap, which means that it could be very successful in POC, but when it goes to prod and production, scale breaks everything, right? Unless you're prepared for it, unless you know that what you are aiming for is actually be financially viable, it's built using best practices and well architected so that it is resilient. So this is, I'm not going to be going into the details of this, but we are seeing some characteristics of data-driven AI ML organizations and their successes. One is we spoke about obviously hyper-personalization. This is a trend, be it in any industry. If you're facing B2B or B2C, does not matter. Hyper-personalizing your office is what people are looking at. Gen Z, you know how they are, you need to hyper-personalize your office. That's number one. The second one that we are seeing is a trend is people are very happy to collaborate, right? So this is like digital bank 4.0, where you build these products that can be exposed. You also consume a lot more products. So your partnership that is being built, which will help you have a big jump start. But when you're doing this, you have to do it in the most secure manner. Your data is protected. Privacy laws are taken care of. And for this, you need to make sure that you have a very platform approach and you have your organization policies put in place that are that govern the platform, right? But more success comes when you are having an open outlook. You are contributing more to the open source community, and you are also consuming more from open APIs. We are also seeing one more trend, which is having this ability to rapidly innovate means you need to build a mindset which will accept failure. So fail fast, fail safe, building this complete ecosystem so that people can innovate faster, but the blast radius is small. So when they fail, they really fail quicker as well. And you can learn from the mistakes and move forward, right? And then, of course, digital skills, I have something to cover on that, and I'll come. This one more point that we are seeing, which is as the hype of AI and AI adoption is increasing, we are also seeing that cyber crimes are on a rise. Okay, so the cybercrime, the cost of cybercrime is increasing since 2022 rapidly. So previously it used to increase by like 10%. We're seeing an increase of 284% since 2022 levels. It's a very small example I just put for you to understand how vulnerable your system can be, and what do you mean by, your agent can be hijacked, the prompts that you write for your agents can be hijacked. You can actually poison the data that you're feeding as for example, if you want to make your model much more secure, and you've heard about RAG, retrieval augmented generation, which is to use a model and feed your own knowledge so that it becomes more powerful. When you're doing that, the data that you are feeding could also be poisoned, right? So the attack surface has actually completely, phenomenally grown now. In this particular example, a very small agent that you've put in place, and you're asking for something very basic, right? Just tell me whom should I meet, what kind of meetings I have. But unintentionally, there could be, that agent could be hijacked to do something which is not as you wished. So here in this case, it's actually sending the emails. When it is touching your Exchange server, it's able to take some of the emails and send it out to somebody, a bad actor. So just as an example, this is a Gartner report. I strongly urge you all, especially the CXOs, to read this report, because it talks about, in the hurry to adopt AI, if you're using models, you're actually going to the fourth party the vulnerability. So third-party models have been trained on data, and this data is actually fourth-party data. So you're actually being susceptible to fourth-party vulnerabilities. And then, if you're using different models from most of them created either from the West or from China, they are not actually built for our region, right? And what kind of biases are there, and how much of an impact it could have on our youth who are working with these models, and how do we actually make sure that these models are catering to our culture, working on our guardrails, looking at our organizational policies. So this is something that you'll have to look at when you are using these models. Of course, I just put, I'm going to be doing a few industries. So first starting with banking, we do see where you can use GenAI and Agentic AI and like building AI assistants in the beginning. So once the user is authenticated, he could really, using natural language, have complete access to his account, but using natural language. So things like what is my credit card bill, but again doing complete BI analytics on it using natural language. And then of course productivity improvement for the bankers, the banking staff, like loan automation, and making sure that it not only looks at existing sources, you can even now look at social media inputs, for example, much easier if you put an actor that would look at social media, right? So we've got traditional ways of how we would approve loan, but we also have the new way of how you can use models and agents can be orchestrated to build the loan process very easily. Now, I'm going to be skipping this just because the audio of this video will not work, but primarily in this particular demo, which I will share again in my PowerPoint, we are having 4 agents that are helping an underwriter here, a loan underwriter, and we've seen that the productivity increase has been massive in this case. The outputs have been measured for metrics, and we see that human intelligence and what this agent-based, it's not a single agent, it's an agentic ecosystem output for this loan approval process has almost 99% match, right? So this is an example that we have built for a fictitious bank, the demo for which is available. I'm going to be skipping this. And then let's look at almost every industry is impacted in GenAI. We spoke about agriculture, marine industry, R&D, drug discovery is now completely disrupted. We are able to simulate using agentic AI in a much faster manner. Software development, I spoke about it. We are looking at customer service. We saw some examples of that. Design and creativity, multimedia, manufacturing. Again, if you bring in other technologies like computer vision and AR, VR, and you actually marry it with agentic AI, we see a lot more success. Yeah, a lot more success in terms of making sure that your processes are now much more productive. Education, I think I have. I have a slide on education. So education is one of the areas where there is obviously every parent would have felt that now the teachers the faculty have this problem, right? The assignments are done by ChatGPT, and there's no way you're going to stop it. You can't say that I'm not going to allow my students to use. They will anyway use. So you have to live in this new world. So we are seeing a very new way of how assessments are done. We are seeing that now learning environments are being hyper-personalized. You have AI assisted learning, which is again quite unique based on the learning patterns that are suitable for the student. But also we are seeing in assessments, almost like how a PhD student used to come and defend. We are seeing grade 5, grade 6 people ask, the teachers are asking them to be creative, to talk about what their assignment is all about. So we are just fast tracking the process. We are getting our children being much more creative and much more effective, which is good. And of course, school administration, this is an example where if you have a big university campus, you would have the students coming to the admin department for asking for a few things, right? When is my examination? Or if you have missed my history class, I really have to go and ask for notes from somebody else. But here what we see is this a very small device, like Alexa device, where on a daily basis, real time, you have the summary of the classes and the recording of the classes all fed into this, and these devices are few dollars. They're just being spread across in the university, in the dorm, in the canteen, and you see students sitting around that device and asking questions. I missed my history class, can you please replay the summary of the class? Or people asking what they would hitherto go and ask from administration department, asking these questions, what is my examination exam timetable, etc. So we are seeing a lot of productivity improvement. People can now spend time in actually learning rather than spending on admin tasks. Now again, healthcare is another big area where we see a lot of adoption of AI, be it patient engagement. We're also seeing where a doctor used to spend, because it's again quite regulated and you need to document everything. So most of the time for the doctor, 40% of the time, 60% patients, 40% keeping the documentation accurate. Now with technology like AI, Health Scribe is one product, but we see a lot more products in this field. The complete conversation, so it's a bot which sits and complete conversation between the doctor and the patient, clinician and the patient is actually summarized, and you do get extremely valuable summary of what it is. It is even further extended to diagnosis and things like that, but obviously the human is always there in the loop, and the doctor is able to spend much more time with the patients rather than doing this mundane documentation, right? So, and then radiology, I mean, there's this case study, I think you can refer to it. Mammograms are used to detect breast cancer, but when they put mammograms of a lot of samples, they found out that from mammograms they are able to actually identify cardiac diseases. Now, when you look at a mammograph, obviously the human eye is limited in its capabilities. When you put it through an AI program, it's far more capable to identify many more traits in the pictures, and it's actually able to predict about not just breast cancer but also cardiac diseases. So a lot more that we can do when it comes to multimodal kind of AI applications, where we are talking about image to text or text to image. And of course, media and entertainment, I'm sure all of you know about it. The kind of deep fakes we are seeing now, we really do not know what should be trusted, what should not be trusted. That's the other side, apart from obviously the security risks that I spoke about. But having said all that, the impact is great. You can create digital movies and do whatnot. So the creativity is just hitting through the roof. This one is an example where in countries we've seen using AI with computer vision, satellite imagery, non-invasive manner. They're getting a lot more intelligence than what they used to get before. So for example, like crop classification, ability to make sure that your agricultural crops are rotated, etc., having national level policies. And this is all done, again, not through very expensive buying of images, or so these images are, again, most of the times open source, available from satellite imagery with very great precision. Previously, our algorithms were not good enough to build this kind of intelligence. But now with GenAI and Agentic AI, we see that these algorithms have become much more smarter, helping derive huge insights, right? Now, when it comes to AI and implementation of AI, there are three things that you will have to look at. One is not to get boxed into some technology, okay? Which means, because this is an area which is changing so rapidly, there's so much of innovation, there's no point in sticking with some kind of a model, some kind of a framework. So we need to look at having the freedom to invent, use any model, any framework, and that's why these protocols like MCP are coming forward, which allows you to connect any agent, any framework, and seamlessly use the best available resource. Yeah, so giving the freedom to invent is one of the core principles that possibly your organization should use. And then obviously, I mean, security is job zero. We cannot compromise on security, given that the cyber crimes are going up. Take the AI that you can trust, and do not be in a hurry. Build the ecosystem and the guardrails so that AI gives you the right kind of outcomes. And of course, maximizing value. What I mean by maximizing value is there are lots of technologies. There are so many startups that are building a lot of cool things. So having a AI governance unit and building the expertise like a COE who would then really keep looking out for what's happening outside and bring in broad brush the kind of guardrails that your organization may require before, making sure that anything and everything, anything that is cool, let's start experimenting with that. That's one of the suggestions that we see. And like I mentioned, you need to have choice of models. When we are building agentic AI solutions, the ability for these models to be orchestrated again in an intelligent manner. It could go to model A and then to model B based on whoever is the customer. Having this particular intelligence built in means that we need to understand your domain and build and orchestrate this application in that particular manner. Again, so it's not compute, database, storage, and memory. What an agentic AI app requires is data lineage, data privacy, data protection, making sure that when you're using third-party, fourth-party assets, you're not becoming liable to any kind of protection laws. The EU AI Act, as you would have seen, is a penalizing act. Yeah? So there are other countries that are catching up. We did hear from His Excellency, Nigeria is also coming up with the Data Protection Act. All the countries are really building their AI framework, which means that we have to be aware of not just GDPR, because these penalties are cascading penalties. So if there is a penalty that is being issued because of the EU AI Act, it's GDPR penalty will also be applicable if we are violating the privacy laws. Yeah? So it becomes cascading. We need to be very, very careful about it. And then responsible AI, security must be job zero. I mean, obviously we spoke about it. And making sure that when we are selecting these use cases, we select the use cases based on what would give the biggest bang for the buck. And it's very easy to say, so I feel a bit lost here, but what I mean is not to chase the coolest of what you have seen, rather what would bring the biggest bang for either your bottom line or your customer service or your product differentiation. Making sure that we select these high impact use cases. Like this is just an indication. So maybe workplace productivity is something that you want to focus on, or maybe automating business flows or customer experience. So it depends on that. I spoke about this. So we have two types of coding: the vibe coding and now going into spec coding. I again urge you all the youngsters out there, to really check out on spec coding. There are IDEs like Kiro, which is now free. I don't know why this is not working, but yeah. So Kiro is actually spec coding. What does it mean? So when you write a piece of code, it creates the documentation equivalent to that. And when you change the document, it changes the code. So you have complete traceability between what the code is, and as a software engineer, I know how difficult it was to keep this, right? The code, the design, and the documentation in sync. And there are these IDEs that are coming out that does that for you through agents. So I urge you all to check it out. This was just for you to take some pictures. And obviously, please get in touch with people who would be able to help you. So when you are building an agentic AI solution, you need to have agent catalog. You need to have these agents running in a runtime which will give you, for example, 8 hours of memory. This is one of the biggest challenges all tech companies are facing. How can I keep the context when it is from session to session, or if it is, for example, between agents? For example, there has been an issue in your application, And this particular memory, you do not want every customer to go through that experience. So you want this particular memory to be shared between sessions, and you want some long-term memory which will be just shared between that customer and that. So sorry to get into the details, but lots of innovation happening in building this agent ecosystem. How do we build systems that can talk seamlessly between the tools and the other systems in a very, very secure manner? Yeah. So there's a lot here that is going on. The digital skills, obviously, again, so there is a bane side, just like with images and deep fakes. There is now vibe coding that has come, but that is making the software engineers and the builders forget about the basics of coding. That should not be the case. Digital skills is about across the board, yeah, across how people think about business in terms of achieving the goals, what kind of technology will help them, how do we achieve this technology in a very secure, resilient manner, how do we make sure that these are in-house within our organization, within our, our regions, and not use something that we really do not understand, and how do we build these technical skills. So we've heard about ML ops engineers, AI ML engineers. It's completely changing now. We looked at cyber security, the, AI ethics and governance. These are new skills that possibly 5 years back didn't exist. Now we need to, put our focus and make sure that we have our digital skills that will help us sail along this journey, like RAG and fine-tuning engineers. We never had that before, but we are actually looking at such profiles now. In terms of, sorry, yeah? Okay. So I'm just going to be closing. So this is what finally it was, to please build your AI responsibly and take it forward, and wish you all a great AI journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shivagami Gugan, for your presentation.